What's up guys, Adam here. Welcome to a video. Yes, it's been a long time since I've done a FIFA video, but here I am back at it. You're just gonna see some FIFA gameplay in the background, yeah, this is not about FIFA 18. This is about FIFA 19 and AC Milan. As you guys know, if you guys have been subscribed for a while, you know that basically the last 2 years I've done this, and I'm gonna be doing this for a third year, and it's just gonna be an AC Milan ratings prediction like I always do. So let's jump right into it, starting off with Antonio Donnarumma, 66 rating last time. I think he's just gonna keep that 66 rating. 2 games he played, and honestly I was actually impressed, but yeah, Antonio Donnarumma doesn't go up by anything. Next up, we have Pepe Reina coming over from Napoli, and honestly I really do like this signing, and he had an 83 starting last year. I think he's gonna keep that 83 rating unless EA decides to do something that, you know, he's 35, they're probably gonna drop him by rating. But 37 appearances with Napoli in the Serie A, 18 clean sheets. Honestly, I think as a backup to Donnarumma and just as a mentor to Donnarumma, I think he can do well. 83 is perfect for him. Next up, we have our main goalkeeper, Gianluigi Donnarumma. I think he's going to stay, and yeah, now that we're back in the Europa League, I think most of these players are going to stay, and I'm very excited about that. But Donnarumma started off as an 82 last year. He did have I don't want to say an incredible season, and I don't want to say he had a poor season. I just think he was solid last year. 37 appearances in the Serie A, played every single game, and he got 12 clean sheets. I think Donnarumma, with him being so young and with EA's philosophy, you know that, I think he's gonna go up by 1 to an 83 overall. Now, as you're seeing right here, some of the stats are staying the same. I haven't played around with any of the stats. I'm just talking about the ratings. Donnarumma, I think, is gonna be obviously our #1 keeper next season, and hopefully we can do well in the Serie A. But Donnarumma is gonna be our starting keeper. 83 overall for him, +1 from last year. Moving on to the defenders, I'm going to be starting off with one of my favorite players at this club. It's Alessio Romagnoli, and honestly, I think I'm going to go out and say it right now. I'm pretty sure everybody knows it too, but defensively, this guy is miles ahead of Bonucci, especially at, I think he's 23. I don't exactly have his age right in front of me. Since coming over in the 2015-2016 season, so good defensively, and for that, I think he's gonna go up by 3 to an 82. Now, that might be a bit much for some people who probably don't watch him, but this guy is incredible defensively. The way he reads the game, the way he intercepts, astounds me how good he is defensively. And yeah, partnering him up with Bonucci, I think near the end of the season it was getting better. But Romagnoli, 82 overall for him, +3 from last year. And honestly, if Bonucci ever leaves, if somebody ever leaves, I think this guy is the next in line for the captaincy. Played 28 games in the Serie A. I think he did struggle with a few injuries here and there, but fully fit. This guy, I love him, and yeah, I hope he stays with us for the rest of his career, and that's why I gave him a +3. Next up, we have Leonardo Bonucci. Now, I was so excited when this transfer happened, and honestly, I still really do like Bonucci. Started out as an 88. I think he struggled. I honestly do think he struggled, and everybody saw that, and that's why I'm going to be giving him a -2 down to an 86. Now, don't get me wrong, Bonucci, great defender, does struggle with marking. He does struggle with marking his man, and I really have to say that about him. But Bonucci defensively sometimes is concerning and sometimes is great. But yeah, Bonucci -2 down to an 86, I think is good for him. Hopefully he can get back to form that he was at Juventus and go back up in rating throughout the season, and that's why I gave him a -2 to an 86. Next up, we have Matteo Musacchio, who 83 overall started. He played some good games here and there, but just did not get enough playing time for my liking. I wish I would have seen him more throughout the season. I think he's gonna go down to an 82 overall. Not much else can be said about Musacchio. I think he's a very solid defender, just needs to get a lot more playing time. Next up, we have Ricardo Rodriguez, 81 overall when he started, but I think Rodriguez, he struggled a bit, but then he was finding his feet throughout the season. I hope, you know, he'll continue next season. A lot of teams were interested in him, but now that we're back in the Europa League, I hope he's gonna stay. I think he's gonna go down to an 80 overall. just because he didn't have the best of seasons, but I find, my opinion, he still played very well to my liking. We needed a guy at left back, and hopefully, you know, he can grow and get better with the team. Next up, we have Andrea Conti. Very excited when this guy joined. Unfortunately, struggled with injuries all season, and that's the reason I'm going to be keeping him as a 75. His initial position last year was a right midfielder, basically a right wing back, but now he's back to a right back. Davide Calabria, next up. He started out as a 73, and honestly, he did impress me this season. Some games where, you know, he had to cover for Conti when he got injured. He played a few games there at left back, but I think, obviously, he's a right back. I think he's going to go up to a 75 overall, +2. I think that's good for Davide Calabria. Still young, solid defensively. He deserves this upgrade. I don't think it's going to go past 75, but you never know with EA. They probably might just keep it at like a 74, but I think 75 is good for him. We have Zapata. I think he's going to stay at a 78. He did well when he played. I don't know exactly how many minutes he played, but a 78 is good for him. Maybe even a 77. Stinic, he had a decent World Cup. Honestly, I was watching him throughout the World Cup. I didn't really know much about him. I think EA probably are going to give him a 75. I think that's how it's going to stay. Who else? We have Abate. I think he's going to stay at a 78, maybe a 77. Luca Antonelli, if he leaves, I don't know. Honestly, very good when he came on as a substitute. I don't know exactly how many minutes he played, but Antonelli, I think, could stay as a replacement. Moving on to the midfielders, we're going to be starting off with Alen Hajovic, just transferred from Las Palmas, 77. He's going to be a right midfielder, 77 again. Mauri, 71, 71. I don't think he's going to get upgraded. Don't think he's going to get downgraded. Next up, we have Ricardo Montolivo, 78. I think he's going to go down to a 77. Obviously, getting up there with age. He's not the player he once used to be, but a -1 I think would be good for Montolivo. Lucas Biglia, when he signed, I was actually excited about it. He didn't impress me that much. You know, he's getting up there with age. I wanted Locatelli to play more, and, you know, he was basically taking away game time from him. I still think he's a decent midfielder, holding midfielder, and for that, I think he's going to go down by -1 to an 82. He did start at an 83. Next up, we have Jack Bonaventura, one of my favorite players at the club, you know, tied with Romagnoli, still only 28, and in that midfield, I think he's vital for the team. I think he's vital for the team. 8 goals, 4 assists last season in the Serie A. I don't think he deserves an upgrade, but I don't think he deserves a downgrade, so that's why I'm going to keep him at 83 overall. Next up, we have Manuel Locatelli. Now, like I said, I've already expressed my feelings with Locatelli through Biglia. I want Locatelli to play more, and I hope he will get a lot of game time this season. Started out as a 74, and I think he's going to go up to a 75, non-rare. Obviously, I think, like I said with Donnarumma, him being so young, and, you know, he does have the potential to become a very good player in the future. Just like I said, he needs game time. I think they're going to put him up to a 75 overall. And last but not least, we have Frank Yannick Kessié coming over from Atalanta. Very excited for this player. I think it was a 2-year loan with an obligation to buy, so this is going to be his 2nd year at the club. He started out as a 76, and I think he's going to go up to a 79 overall. Now, I don't exactly know how many minutes this guy played, but I think this guy played every single game there was to play this season. He's just an absolute workhorse. He really impressed me. One thing that I have to say about him is that sometimes his passes are a little off. I hope he can work on that, but yeah, Kessié, +3, still very young, and I hope he does stay with Milan for, you know, years to come, and that's why I'm gonna give him a +3 from a 76 to a 79. And last but not least, we do have the forwards. Now, I'm gonna be starting off with Fabio Borini. When this transfer happened, you know, I didn't think much of it, but Borini actually did impress me in some of the games he played. Honestly, the guy was playing every single position there was to play. Freaking right midfielder, left midfielder, in the midfield, at right back. Like, what was happening? Borini, I think he can get a 76 overall. Not much change from last season. Hakan Çalhanoğlu, he was a player I was very excited to see, and you know what? At the beginning of the season, I wasn't sure about him, but as the season progressed, he became a vital player in that front three, and he did impress me, and I can't wait to see more of Çalhanoğlu next season. Got off to a slow start, and then under Gattuso, I think his game changed, and for that, I think he's going to go from a 79 to an 80. He's still relatively young, and he does have a lot more in him. I cannot wait to see him next season, and that's why I gave him a +1. Next up is Andre Silva. I was very excited about this guy. Cost us 38 million euros. I don't exactly know what to say. Now, in the Serie A, he was disappointing. He only did get 2 goals, but in the Europa League, he did have 6 goals. So, you know, obviously the teams in the Europa League, I'm going to be the first one to admit it, they weren't the highest caliber of teams, but still, I was actually happy to see Andre Silva scoring in the Europa League, and then those 2 goals he got in the Serie A. I hope we can keep him. I honestly do hope we can keep Andre Silva, and for that, I think he's going to go down from a 78 to a 77, and that's going to be my rating for Silva. Next up, we do have Suso. Now, Suso had 6 goals, 10 assists in the Serie A, and yeah, I hope he can stay. Not much change to his rating. Absolutely no change to his rating. Suso, hopefully he'll be a vital part this season once again, and for that, I'm just going to keep his rating at 82. Last but not least, Gunman Patrick Cutrone started at a 65 overall last season. Now, I don't think he's going to get some crazy upgrade, but I think a 75 is actually good for him. He's going to be a non-rare 75. He did have 10 goals in the Serie A at such a young age. This guy just reminds me of Pippo Inzaghi in the box, and I hope he can build on that great season and just continue to score goals and just hopefully be the striker that we've missed in such a long time. 18 goals in all competitions. I hope he can get more next season. And Patrick Cutrone, that's why I decided to give him a +10 overall increase. I think a 75 is good for him. Young player. So yeah, those are my rating predictions. Don't take these things too seriously. These are just predictions from my point of view, from what I saw this season, watching every single game, literally every single game, every friendly, every Europa League game, every qualifier. I would literally skip school to watch games. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you agree with me, let me know in the comments. If you disagree with me, let me know in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.